Hi guys, I'm here at the CMA Songwriters Series at the O2 with Mr. Kip Moore. How are you, sir?
Good, man. Always good to be here.
Yeah, it's always good to see you.
Always.
So tonight you've got one of your buddies with you, haven't you, Mr. Brett Jones?
I do. Brett and I have not played together in quite a while. Brett and I go way back. He's the one that first signed me to a songwriting deal, so it's always nice to get to hang out with that guy.
Yeah. You actually wrote most of the Wild Ones album with, at Brett's house, didn't you?
I wrote a lot of the Up All Night record with Brett.
Yeah.
I think I wrote maybe one or two off of Wild Ones.
You were staying at his house though, weren't you, when you were kind of working towards the Wild Ones album?
Yeah. No, I was staying at his publishing house. This really old vibey building built back in the 1800s. I wrote all the Up All Night record in that place and most of the Wild Ones record in there.
Was that the haunted place?
It is the haunted place. It is. I moved into it. It's crazy because I after I'd already had 3 number ones off of the first record, and I was starting to taste the success of that. I had been broke my whole life up until that point, So it was. I noticed once that started happening, I got myself a decent apartment for the first time, and I started feeling domesticated, and all of a sudden I felt like I was losing some of my drive, and I was getting comfortable. I was watching TV, which I never did. So I called Brett and said, I'm going to move back. I'm going to move into the publishing house in that little tiny room, which is smaller than this. And I moved all my stuff in there. And I lived in there for a year and wrote the Wild Ones record.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what's great about tonight is, obviously, it's a CMA event, and it's great to see you involved with a CMA event, because I know the award shows and stuff have not been the best for you. But do you see this as a sign of change, and seeing you kind of getting more involved in the CMA clique, as it were?
I don't really see it as any more than I felt like playing a songwriter show.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's probably why I don't get in good with politics with the way I just answered that question.
But obviously this is an acoustic songwriters round today, and you've been doing a lot of that in the States with Wade Bowen and Randy Rogers, haven't you?
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that tour.
Yeah, I mean, my thing is, with the question that you just asked is, CMA's asked me to come play this thing, and I said, yeah, sure. I mean, I love to play songwriter shows, but I'm never thinking about it in terms of the way you asked it. Is that going to help me on the political end? I mean, I don't really give a shit about politics, to be honest. So my side, with that's just how it is. I think it's not like it's not a knock. It's just I've never got into music to chase those kinds of things. The music was always what I cared about. So I love to play stripped down stuff. So when I'm asked to do those things and I like to do it. And it's awesome to be a part of it because, it is the CMA. So anyways, second part of the question, I can't remember what you asked me.
Wade Bowen and Randy Rogers and stuff?
We had a blast on that. It's probably some of the most fun I've ever had playing music in my entire life was with those guys on that tour. We had such a good time. We've gotten where we text each other all the time, and they become good buddies of mine. We had a lot of good times after the show too. I mean, it was such a blast, and it was just so nice to strip the songs down to where they started and tell stories and have a whole evening around that. There's a sense of lightness, and there's no pressure really behind a full band show that you have sometimes entertaining a whole crowd for 2 hours.
Yeah, and you're going to be back here on Saturday playing in the main arena, and I feel like the Slowheart record was made for that kind of arena, because like the Ball, Plead the Fifth, Sunburn.
It's I actually ran into a fan in the gym a little while ago, and he was saying how much more he liked Wild Ones, and I said, well, it's to each its own. It's that's music is very subjective. For me personally, I'm much more fond of the Slowheart record. And from the reaction of the crowds when we've been playing this record, it's just been a frenzy for the last tour in the fall. So I think those opinions are going to always be different. But yes, I mean, I feel like when I make music now, I'm very conscious of how is this going to be translated live. And, you take a song like Bittersweet Company. That's how I first wrote it. It was very melancholy, but then I started thinking, how do I capture the power of that lyric and that melody when I do a full band recording and still keeping the sentiment of the song? So it's all those things when you're trying to go in and record a project.
Yeah. Now, obviously, so we've been cut short. This is really, really tough. But obviously, a lot of the artists that are playing at C2C are coming back later in the year. is it something that you want to do, come back as soon as possible and keep seeing us?
Man, and this is honest. I mean, I think you could tell from the first answer. I'm always going to shoot straight, and I've said this in many interviews back in the States. I've become very fond of the people here and playing shows here, and it's not easy for us to come over here. That's why a lot of people, it's a very, I mean, I shoot you straight. It costs a ton to come over here and play. But it's something that I've been very dedicated to, and we've lost tons coming over here, and trying to gain that fan base. But it's because of how much we love coming, how much I love coming, how much I get from the fans. It rejuvenates me every time I come over here. So as long as that's happening, I'll always be coming back every year.